I used to lose 30% of my harvest every season. Aphids, beetles, caterpillars, every year. Then someone told me I was solving the wrong problem. I didn't need more pesticides. I needed to redesign what I planted. These 10 perennials changed everything. You plant them once, and they guard your garden for decades. No chemicals, no weekly effort, just smarter planting. Let's get into it. Number 1, lavender. If you only add one plant to your garden this year, make it lavender. Most people grow it for the look or the fragrance, but they don't realize it's working overtime as a pest deterrent at the same time. Lavender's essential oils, primarily linalool and linaloyl acetate, are genuinely repellent to moths, fleas, whiteflies, and aphids. Plant it near the entry points of your garden, near doorways, and around your most vulnerable crops. It thrives in zones 5 through 9. Full sun, well-drained soil. It actually prefers lean, slightly alkaline ground. Overwatering is the fastest way to kill it, so if you're in a humid climate, raised beds or a south-facing slope make all the difference. Number 2, catmint. Not catnip, catmint, nepeta. And yes, your cat may develop opinions about your garden. That's a cost you'll have to weigh. But catmint is one of the most underrated pest-repelling perennials you can plant. It deters aphids, Japanese beetles, ants, and weevils. It blooms for months. Pollinators absolutely love it. And it spreads into a dense ground-covering mound that crowds out weeds as a bonus. Here's the pro tip most people miss. Plant it along your garden borders as a living edge. It's low and spreading. It creates a fragrant barrier. And when you brush against it, that scent releases and intensifies. A border of catmint is genuinely doing 3 jobs at once: deterring pests, attracting pollinators, and suppressing weeds. Zones 3 through 8. Cold climate gardeners, this one's for you. It's tough, it's reliable, and it comes back stronger every year. Number 3, yarrow. This one works differently to everything else on this list, and I want you to understand why, because once you do, you'll never look at it the same way. Yarrow doesn't just repel pests, it recruits predators. The flat-topped flower clusters, what botanists call umbels, are landing platforms for parasitic wasps, lacewings, and hoverflies. These are the insects that lay their eggs inside aphid colonies, that eat spider mites, that patrol your garden doing pest control work you'd never manage yourself. Yarrow is essentially a hiring agency for beneficial insects. You plant it, and it calls in the workforce. It grows in zones 3 through 9, handles drought beautifully, and will thrive in poor soil that would starve most other plants. Full sun, almost zero maintenance. Pair it with fennel along your garden's outer border, and you've built one of the most effective predator recruitment corridors you can create at home. Number 4, lemon balm. If mosquitoes are your primary pest problem, and for a lot of gardeners they are, lemon balm is your answer. It contains citronellol, the same compound in citronella candles, but in a living, breathing plant that releases it every time the wind moves through it or you brush past it. It also deters gnats and some species of aphid. The pro tip here is placement. Don't just plant it in a bed somewhere. Plant it in containers near your seating areas, near doorways, and at the edges of paths where you'll disturb the leaves regularly. Every time you walk past, it releases that scent. That's the mechanism. Zones 3 through 7. It prefers partial shade and holds moisture well. Actually, one of the few plants on this list that performs better with some afternoon shelter. One honest note, lemon balm spreads. If you're not careful, it can take over a bed in a season or 2. Containers give you the benefit without the sprawl. Number 5, fennel. Fennel is a complicated one on this list, and I need to give it to you straight. It is phenomenal at attracting beneficial insects, parasitic wasps, hoverflies, ladybugs. Fennel is one of the most effective predator-attracting plants you can grow. The feathery foliage is also a host plant for swallowtail butterfly larvae, which is a genuine benefit if you care about your local ecosystem. But here's what they don't always tell you. Fennel is allelopathic. Its roots release compounds that can inhibit the germination and growth of nearby plants. Keep it away from tomatoes, peppers, and beans in particular. The strategy is to plant fennel on the outer perimeter of your garden, not inside your vegetable beds. It works as a sentinel plant on the boundary, bringing in beneficials from the outside without interfering with your crops. Zones 4 through 9, full sun. Once established, it's extremely self-sufficient. Number 6, tansy. Tansy is one of those plants that's been used in pest management for centuries, and the reason it lasted that long is simple. It works. It repels ants, beetles, squash bugs, and cucumber beetles with particular effectiveness. The compound responsible is thujone, which is present in the leaves and flowers at levels that are genuinely toxic to many insects. Historically, it was used to keep flies and pests out of larders and food storage areas. Plant it near squash, cucumbers, and along the edges of raised beds. The pro tip is to periodically crush a few leaves and scatter them in areas where you're seeing ant trails. It disrupts the pheromone paths they use to navigate. Zones 3 through 8. Full sun, tolerates poor soil, extremely cold hardy. Fair warning, like lemon balm, tansy spreads aggressively. Deadhead it before it sets seed and you'll keep it manageable. Number 7, agastache, also called hyssop or hummingbird mint depending on where you are. Agastache is the dual threat plant on this list. It repels aphids effectively, and at the same time, it is one of the most powerful pollinator-attracting plants in existence. Bees, hummingbirds, and butterflies treat it like a destination. You will not have a more alive-feeling section of your garden than wherever you put agastache. The anise-scented foliage is what deters the aphids. They navigate by scent, and agastache overwhelms that signal. Plant it near roses, near brassicas, near any crop where aphid pressure is a recurring problem for you. Zones 4 through 9, full sun, drought tolerant once established, and unlike some aromatic herbs, it handles humidity reasonably well. Number 8, wormwood, Artemisia, absinthium. This one is serious. Wormwood is one of the most powerful natural pest deterrents you can grow, and it earns that reputation. It repels slugs, flea beetles, moths, and a broad range of beetles. The compound absinthin, the same one that gave absinthe its reputation, is genuinely repellent to a wide insect spectrum. Even deer tend to avoid gardens with wormwood planted around the perimeter. Here is the critical pro tip for this plant. Do not plant it inside your vegetable beds. Wormwood's roots release allelopathic compounds that inhibit the germination of seeds and the growth of young plants nearby. It belongs on the outer border as a perimeter plant, not as a companion in your growing beds. Used correctly, planted as a border hedge, it is extraordinary. Used without knowing this, it can cause real damage to your other plants. Zones 3 through 9, full sun, extremely drought tolerant, one of the toughest plants on this entire list. Number 9, chrysanthemum. This is the one with the scientific muscle behind it. Chrysanthemums contain pyrethrin, a natural insecticidal compound so effective that it became the basis for an entire category of commercial pesticides. Pyrethroids, the synthetic version, are modeled directly on what chrysanthemums produce naturally. In the garden, they repel genuinely broad pest spectrum. Aphids, spider mites, Japanese beetles, leafhoppers, ticks. There's research specifically on Chrysanthemum cinereifolium, the Dalmatian chrysanthemum. showing significant deterrent effects on a wide range of insects. Plant them throughout your beds as you would any ornamental. They're beautiful, they're versatile, and they're quietly doing pest management the entire time they're in bloom. Zones 5 through 9, full sun. One of the easiest plants on this list to grow, and one of the highest impact choices you can make. Number 10, Russian sage. We're closing the list with one of the most architectural, most visually striking plants you can put in a garden, and one that deer and Japanese beetles genuinely avoid. Russian sage produces a cloud of silvery blue flower spikes from midsummer right through to early autumn. It is stunning. It is also incredibly aromatic, and that aroma, which we find beautiful, of course, is deeply off-putting to aphids, Japanese beetles, and deer alike. It's particularly valuable for gardeners dealing with deer pressure. The strong scent masks neighboring plants, and the texture of the foliage is something deer consistently avoid. Zones 4 through 9, full sun, drought-tolerant, heat-tolerant, and actually one of the most low-maintenance plants on this entire list once it's established in its second year. Now here's the thing I want you to take away from all of this. The real value isn't in any single plant. It's in how you arrange them together. A border of wormwood and Russian sage on the outer perimeter, yarrow and fennel to recruit predators from outside the garden, catmint and lavender along the internal edges, masking your crops, chrysanthemums woven through your beds as a broad spectrum deterrent. That's not just a garden, that's a system. And that system works harder every single year as the plants mature, spread, and establish deeper roots. Most of these plants won't hit full effectiveness until their second season. That's the honest truth. Year 1, they're establishing. Year 2, they're working. Don't judge them at 6 months. Give them a full growing season and then watch what happens to your pest pressure. If you're starting from 0, here's where I'd begin. Pick 3 plants that match your hardiness zone and start with those. Lavender if you're in zones 5 and above. Catmint or yarrow if you're dealing with colder winters. Chrysanthemum if you want the broadest pest coverage with the least effort. 3 plants, 1 season. You'll see the difference. If this is the kind of content that's useful to you, the subscribe button is right there. We cover practical science-backed gardening every week. And next week, I'll show you how to pair these perennials with annual companions to close every remaining gap in your pest defense. I'll see you in the next one.